Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Berardi and Coke with myself, Jay, and pod regular Smarty. Just going to play you a little intro video.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Okay, so I only played the short part of the intro.
You can tell someone's had a few too many ales and is suffering a little bit tonight, James.
I don't know what you mean, Paul. Definitely didn't. Mate.
It's like it's been dug up.
I know, I feel like it. I had to go to work like this and I was just sat there in a monged out state all day. Which, you know, on the plus side, it meant that I couldn't think too much about last night's game. So I've not really been dwelling on that because I've not been in a fit state to do so.
Suffering in different ways.
That's the one, yeah. That's the one. So another defeat last night, and I don't really know what to say about it. If I'm completely honest, I ended up feeling like my mate who couldn't go because he had COVID was the lucky one last night. So, what did you think?
Where do you even start with that? I mean, gosh, I suppose I kind of were a bit optimistic, given the lesser performance. Defensively was a marked improvement, I thought. And then moving on into last night, I just thought, where do you start? How did you start? It was shit. It was shit. It was unacceptable. There was no drive, no passion. Just not enough commitment from any single player, I don't think, and it was just fucking embarrassing, really. Everything, not just little bits, like everything across the fucking board were just poor, just really, really poor, and then obviously to throw into that little cocktail, had your shite ref and all. He didn't shower himself in glory, did he? Let's be honest.
He gave them a hell of a lot and gave us fuck all, as usual.
Yeah, fucking hell. And then we're going into this weekend against Norwich. I don't think we've ever lost more than 6 or 7 games, so this could be yet another record we smashed this year. All for the obviously, but not the good reasons neither.
All about them records.
And I've seen a stat of the lowest recorded XG in a game in a Leeds match since 2016, I believe. 6 years.
Fantastic.
Which, just the icing on the cake. Before we start, going into any sort of player performances, because really across the board it was just dire, wasn't it? It just didn't seem to show up. I mean, especially after the second goal, when it was just like, you just don't give a fuck. There were a couple of occasions when Aston Villa were countering, and Firpo, for example, he'd lost the ball on the edge of their box and kind of just did one of them sort of jogs still going forward. I'm not being funny,
but one thing you just don't want to see, do you?
You've got fucking some tosser on fucking right wing, absolutely pelting it towards the edge of our box, and you're still fucking trotting towards fucking cop like that. I don't believe it. I thought, what? I know. Where's the fight? Where's the passion? You should be absolutely busting your ass off to get back and try and defend.
That's it. I put in more effort than that when we played 5-a-side.
Yeah, well, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I just thought we should be absolutely fighting tooth and nail for every single point we can possibly muster. Yeah. We should be doing everything we possibly can. They should be crawling off that pitch. They should be absolutely fucking knackered. And it was just like they just didn't give a shit. It was just like they just didn't give a shit, and it really, really fucking wound me up. I always
disagree with any of that.
I will never boo my team. I will never boo. I will always stay back and clap, but I just walk straight out. I didn't boo. I didn't boo. I will never boo my team, but sometimes I just think, can I really blame people for voicing their opinions by booing or whatever? Yeah. That's up to them. I don't agree with it, because it doesn't add to the situation in a positive way. But it is what it is. We're paying customers at the end of the day.
That's exactly it.
I've heard that quite a few people had a few choice words to say, directed towards director's box as well.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Fucking dead right.
I don't know what went on. So, have you heard anything specific?
No.
Not asking you to name anyone like
no,
like that
no, I
article the other day.
I've seen that there were people saying a few things on the way out, directing it towards their sort of area of the stands and stuff, and I won't want to waste my pie on the pricks. Actually, you probably end up in jail anyway using an offensive weapon because they're that fucking hard, them pucker pies or whatever they are. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say because they're that fucking hot, but yeah, they are. They're
come out absolutely piping up. But I just
they're
think,
bastard.
From a style of play point of view, they just seemed like devoid of ideas. There were no direction. There didn't seem to be any kind of clue what they were doing.
No.
I don't know whether they're still transitioning from playing Bielsa ball and then obviously moving on to the way that Jesse plays. On a couple of take Firpo's injury for example. They were defending a corner and Firpo were in the mix, and obviously they countered. Firpo, instead of going into it, but bearing in mind we're supposed to be playing zonal now rather than man mark.
Yeah.
He's gone from the middle of the pitch, being involved in the middle of their box, and he's come on to their right side, leaving our left flank completely unmarked. Yet again, for the fucking 5th or 6th time in that match. Yet again, he's gone over. He's been. I've watched replay, and there ain't a right lot in it, so I don't know whether he's just decided. Yeah, I've had an absolute shocker. I don't think. Yeah. I can't remember last time. In fact, I probably could narrow it down to Jimmy Kebe, sort of Cameron Stewart sort of times where I've never seen a performance that bad from a Leeds player before. Rodrigo, he was absolutely fucking terrible and all. He was just like, fucking hell. Just shocking. I don't think he even managed to keep hold of the ball.
No, he didn't. He was terrible, actually. I saw something today that noted that Lawrence de Bock is still our player. Is it time for him to come home?
No.
After watching that.
No. I think
no, I'm only joking.
Yeah, I know, but fucking hell. Who knows? Who knows? But
do you know what I thought, right? Where I just, you were saying about how bad they looked after that Leicester game. I don't get how they could have that step forward seemingly against Leicester, where it looked like everyone's pulling in the same direction. They want to get a result. They're buying into the new guy, whatever. And then to go from that to something that were arguably worse than the Spurs game.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? I don't get that.
We played better against like Liverpool and Man City when we were getting fucking pumped 5, 6, 7-0. We played better at 5.
We had shots
at 7-0 down to City. We
had shots on goal in them games.
2-0 down to Aston Villa, who were arguably a mid-table team. And don't take it away. You can't take it away from Aston Villa. Whatever people think about them, they are a good team, and they're playing well under Steven Gerrard, and they really did play well last night. Given the first 20 minutes, I thought they were fairly evenly matched. They scored a fluky, got a fluky deflection for their first goal. But from they kind of used that and kicked on from that, and we just fell to rat shit, and they just went straight for juggler then, didn't they? They did straight in on us and punished us, and rightly so, because we were just shy. I knew Mings. I was expecting a Mings header, to be fair.
Oh,
the amount of shit he were getting, I just thought,
I can't stand him.
I turned to one of the lads next to me and says, I guarantee he'll either score an header or he'll do something. He assisted, I can't remember who scored last, with Chambers who scored last goal.
I can't remember, mate. I haven't been able to look at anything to do with the game since.
Yeah, I can't remember who scored that. It would have a decent goal, to be fair. Melia just watched it go in. But yeah, it just fucking wank, wasn't it? I mean,
they were no good, were they? There were no in that game that you could pick up and say, well, at least we did this. Like, there were no.
Yeah.
The best thing that happened on the night was seeing that they'd fixed the TV in the cheese wedge. That were it. That were only positive.
TV and cheese wedge?
Yeah, so at the Spurs game, sometime in the second half, or possibly half time, but a big white square appeared on it where somebody had clearly punched it. Like, just had enough. TV, it was fucked. You couldn't see it game, so you're down there having your pint trying to watch, and you can't see because it's right in the middle of the screen. So, like, the bit where the camera's following the ball, that's the bit you can't see.
Sorry. You mean in concourse?
That's right, yeah.
Walking on about TV.
I did wonder why I were having to go on about this so much. It wasn't meant to be like a drawn out thing.
Oh, like, hey, what's he on about? Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, that's what happens when you get cheap seats, isn't it?
That's it, mate. Yeah,
you don't deserve it. You cheese wedge ultras.
We clearly didn't deserve any bubbles in his beer last night, because that was probably the worst beer I've had at Elland Road as well.
Yeah, just
flat as a fart, mate. The team,
like our atmosphere as well last night. That was
when that first goal went in, it was like somebody opened a door on a plane, wasn't it? Just the air was sucked out. It was gone.
There were little pockets. The one in, I mean, there always is in South Stand anyway. There were little pockets of stuff, but it was just, you could just feel the tension. It was horrible, and you know, you have to expect it. I mean, we're playing so poorly, you know. The players really aren't giving us anything to get behind. You know, they're not showing any sort of motivation. They're not attacking as fluidly as they would do normally. We can't even string any fucking passing together. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm swearing a lot tonight, and I apologise. I know it's a family show.
People have been warned.
But yeah, I just couldn't. My dishwasher, it's about to get my foot through the bastard.
Oh, is it yours this time? Mine last pod.
Third world problems.
No, I were on the All Leeds TV, wasn't I? Yeah, mine were doing it. I'm sat there and it just kept beeping for like 5 minutes.
Like
bastard thing. Yeah, basically.
But no, passing were woeful. I mean, it's been bad all season, but last night were atrocious. And it's embarrassing that the basics are being covered and kind of overlooked. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon or any kind of genius to look at review our season and look at, compare it from the seasons gone by and look how really sharp and kind of sixth sense we had about us passing ability and stuff. And you can clearly see that it's just gone to absolute fucking rat shit. I mean, it's basics. Yeah. It's basics.
No, that's it.
And we're struggling to make 10-yard passes without, really, really slow, lethargic passing that's getting either just not even reaching the guy because it's been intercepted or it's not even on fucking target. I mean, Struick, fuck me. It blazed one straight over Dallas's head. And I think he did it a couple of times, not necessarily just to Dallas, but to anyone. He just blazed it straight out of play. And I'm just like,
there were loads of those.
It's basic
There were loads
stuff.
of those. It is. And like when you're getting a bit of an attack going, you're thinking, here we go, finally. And then the pass to them, the pass to the team, and everyone just goes, oh.
It's like you see them in these bloody inside training videos, and they're all smiling, all happy, doing all the work. Nice one. You put them on fucking bloody, the hallowed turf of Ellen Road, and they couldn't pass fucking parcel. Never mind the fucking ball. It's fucking shit. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
You'd expect.
I was getting proper angry last night about it.
I know. I were. But there's certain things that you would just expect if you are good enough to be a professional footballer, you should just be able to do. And passing the ball to your own teammate is right up there for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anybody that plays the game should be able to pass a ball. All right, putting it right on someone's toe from 40 yards or whatever, that's a bit more of a specialised skill. But when you're playing little passing moves and trying to progress up the pitch like we were last night, and you can't even pass to a guy who's 10 yards from you, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
There's no width.
No, he's made them narrow, hasn't he?
I mean, the reason... I mean, I'm not trying to excuse the passing because the passing were atrocious, but I understand why he might have automatically, muscle memory takes over and you'd look to the wings to play that pass. And that's probably where someone should have been pre-Jesse March. We will have had a winger out there, cuddling touchline at the other side, but
yeah.
Don't you look up? Do you not look up to see where the player is that you're passing to? Or they just, I mean, I were under the assumption, and it happened a couple of times against Leicester, where they were just passing it to space a lot. Yeah. Why? We've never done that. I mean, even I mean, I understand that he's trying to implement his own fucking way of doing things or whatever. But passing into space where you can't, I don't know whether it's not like you're putting someone through, or you can see a player running into space or into that space, and you're trying. Obviously, they were just passing to no one.
Yeah,
worst offender is fucking Luke Ayling. Wow. The guy is not a centre back. I'm sorry. He might have done, a couple of jobs in Championship or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he's struggling at right back, let's be honest, but centre back, fucking sweet mother of God. And I never, ever, ever, ever want to see Robin Koch in the centre of midfield ever again. Genuinely.
I know. Me neither. I don't understand it. I think, disaster. one of the sort of few sort of positives that people would have took from Marcelo being sacked and this guy coming in was that players will start being played in the correct positions. And what's happened? Like, what's changed? Fuck all.
We don't have players, do we?
Well,
we have substandard players, and this is
even less now, haven't we? Two more injured long term.
Fucking who knows? It might have just been an imaginary injury because I didn't see anything in it. I could be wrong, but I've not heard anything since. Not that I really give a fuck actually, because I'd rather have someone else playing there because I think he gets better in certain areas. Firpo, it seems like he gets better, and it's like, oh, there's a player, and then he just performs like he did last night, and you just think, you need to fucking stop playing football and go pack some football. Because you are.
It is weird. It is weird that the guy has clearly got ability, but then just chooses not to display it the next game. It's very, very weird.
And it's fucking hell. I mean, it was just. I mean, there was no positives to take out last night. Not one.
No,
not one. And when I looked at, we obviously did the Bielsa stuff, and we shouldn't really be talking about Bielsa that much, but it's hard not to, because I still believe that do or die, he would have still been able to do a job. We would have played better football than what we did last night. But by the by, we look at how Jesse March sets his teams up, and also, and there's three players pressing. Well, I didn't see really much hunting in packs, like the proclaimed media say, "Oh yeah, Jesse March has been hunting packs like Bielsa's teams in Championship used to do." I didn't see fuck all of that last night. The only guy that can probably hold his head up high with regards to the pressing constantly is Daniel James, because he didn't stop. And I think for sure, he's one of his best games, but you can see he tries.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
but we click, and with Rodrigo, Dallas were poor. Fucking Rafinha. I mean, where do you start with him? Absolute dogmeat last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they were saying during the week, wasn't they? He's been going up to manager and saying, "Oh, can we try this? Can we do that?" And oh yeah, he's proper committed. He's invested in fight to keep us up. I haven't seen anything to back that up at all for about 2 months.
After 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I put a tweet out last night, and it got a bit more traction than I thought it would have done, actually. But I just said I'm surprised Firpo wasn't tripping up over his bottom lip all night. The whole, when they scored, the whole hands on hips, looking into distance. The 1,000-yard scare. When I stood at halfway line, ready.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, mate. But if I saw that, I'd be fucking booting off. If I were captain of that team, I'd be fucking absolutely furious.
Of course you would.
And then marching straight off down the tunnel afterwards.
You want to see people putting some effort in, don't you? He's got to pull his weight. No matter how good he can be.
There's no doubt he's got shite. There's no doubt he's got ability, but
he's got to show some passion, some fight.
This style of play, having the lads playing, quite narrow. Are we not utilising our best players like Daniel James, like Harrison and Rafinha? They're wingers. They like space. They like to play out with some width, and they're having them playing narrow. You got Dan James, who can't run onto anything because no one's passing. No one can pass a ball, right? So we've got no one passing any ball through for him to run onto. Jack Harrison, at minute, he's just really struggling for form, and Rafinha's tripping up over his fucking bottom lip and can't. He just can't do it at minute. He gets tackled constantly. He's throwing his arms around, and it's just like,
I know, yeah.
Fucking bench him.
He's just
you were better coming bench against fucking scum than he was fucking starting. Get what a young lad who probably want to fight for the shirt. Not got the obedient kids yet, but it's not far off. If we don't win against Norwich, if we do not beat Norwich, I dread to think what that stadium will be like on Sunday night.
Man, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It will
and if we do lose to Norwich, I think that is us tied up down. We're off down.
I do too.
If we do not, and we cannot possibly go for the next 10 games, hoping and praying that the teams below us are going to fuck up and trip themselves up and lose. Because even if we did survive by the narrowest of margins this season, we're fucked next year because the whole team needs completely overhauling. There's just so many substandard players, cracking players. A lot of them have done the time, have done well by the club and all that sort of stuff. But we really do need to kick on. Marcelo Bielsa's style of play allowed average players, to look like fucking porn stars. Because of the passing, because of the movement, because everything was drilled into them. Now they've been fucking completely fucking, left out in open.
Just pulled apart.
And they're just poor. They're just not good enough. And some of the fucking superstars, you look at Rodrigo, 27 million quid worth of player. I've seen Blads on fucking Sunday League play better than him. Genuinely, I have. You know, and I understand that with you're playing for a club and the position that we're in this year, you know, there's a lot of pressure there.
Mm.
But I'm not fucking seeing anything. I really aren't fucking seeing anything from the guy. You can see that there's every now and again there's a little bit of quality. There's better players in Championship. There is better players in fucking Championship in his position. You know, he's supposed to be the Pablo Hernandez, the creative number 10.
Yeah.
Fuck off, man. You know, I mean, I'm glad he got taken off because I just thought this fucker can't do it tonight. He's just absolute dog meat.
He's starting to look like an expensive Tyler Roberts, isn't he?
He's just getting exposed. You know, he's looking. I don't know what he's looking for. I don't. He'll get ball and he'll have a look and he's been tackled. It's like Dan James when he were running towards defence. He was running like fuck. Held on to ball 2-1. He should have played it right, left or right, and he didn't, and he got tackled. And then they were countering again. And every single time they counter, or any team counters against us now, I just go, oh fuck. Because
I do. You expect a goal, don't you?
Holy shit!
You expect a goal.
Well, you do, don't you?
That's what it's come to. As soon as someone gets near our box, you think, oh, for fuck's sake. Because you're just waiting for it. You're just waiting for it. The old bloke next to me says to me, the bloke next to me said, it'd just be nice to see us score first for a change. And I said, just be nice to see us score. You know, but we always go behind every single game. I don't understand it. I don't get the mentality. And it's so frustrating because like a number of those games, even though overall we've played shit, we have had like really good starts to most of the games where we sort of pound them for like 20 minutes. Then we can't score. Then we concede one on counter and it all just goes downhill from there. That's it. It's game over. As soon as someone scores, game's done. It's gone. Yeah. We are not capable of getting back into a game. We're not capable of taking over a game. We're not capable of any kind of game management whatsoever. There's just nothing there. It's like they've never played football before. And I just don't get it. And, you know, we've seen it before with Leeds teams, haven't we, where they seem to struggle in front of the home crowd sometimes and they'll play better away. And we can't be doing that at this point in this position. We just can't. And you can't, as you said before, you can't rely on the teams around us to save us. We have to show something and do it ourselves. We have to win the games in front of us. We can't rely on other people being shit. And right now, I don't think there is anyone as shit as us on the last sort of 5 or 6 games.
I mean, form wise, you look, you know, you've got Norwich and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not being funny. If I were Norwich, I mean,
I'd be relishing playing.
They're pretty much down and out. Are they? Let's be totally honest. It'd take an absolute fucking miracle for them to do anything. Yeah. But I'd be up for it. I'd think we can go get 3 points, and I think we can get 3 points quite easily against these shower of shit over there.
I would.
I'd be quite up for it. And notoriously, you know, teams down there who are fighting for survival are probably some of the toughest games you can probably want to have anyway. So the run-in which we're in now, you know, you've got teams vying for Champions League places, and you've got teams vying for survival. And you know, you look at Newcastle, prime example, they're absolutely fighting tooth and nail to get out of that sort of, you know, relegation fodder.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. You know, they've got the new manager. They've had a bounce. Villa were down there at some point. Thereabouts. They've had a bounce. Everton are shit, but they've got fucking Frank Wanktard in charge. So big shock there. They're probably not going to do all. But they've got enough quality within that team to be able to turn it on a sixpence and get some results against some decent team. We do not have quality going throughout our fucking team to be able to turn it. The only 2-3 individuals that we do are Rafinha, and maybe, you know, when he's on form, you know, Jack Harrison, fantastic player, and Patrick Bamford. You know, those are the only players that are going to do anything for us now this season. Dan James, maybe. You know, you don't know. You know, Stuart Dallas popped up with a goal. You know, Click used to pop up with a goal. There's no fucker scored, and we just can't score. Couldn't score in a brothel. And it's embarrassing.
Can't do anything, can we? Since Rafinha stopped scoring, the team stopped scoring. It's just like there's nothing.
Know. And then obviously
that were probably the one positive, Bamford coming on. At least we got to see him back, but could be too little, too late at this point.
I think it is. You know, well, no, you don't know. You don't know. It's tough to call. I think there's a lot riding on this weekend's match now. There is a hell of a lot riding on this weekend's match now, because if we don't put in a performance, fucking hell, I dread to think what Ellen Road will be like. I genuinely do.
I'll tell you something.
What it'll do for them lads' confidence and everything like that. You know, it'll be absolute. I mean, it's shot to fucking pieces now, but you know, under Bielsa, you kind of had that little bit of light in the background. You know, you knew even if we were getting dipped, that there was always a point that we could probably turn it round, and people had a lot of faith, had a lot of credit in the bank. Did Bielsa? This guy's got fucked all, and I feel sorry for him because he's not him. I mean,
no, it's not his fault.
He's trying to implement change and that he's trying to implement his own sense of style and all that sort of stuff. But the players just aren't fucking responding. They aren't, and I don't know whether it's because they've been able to, you know, change the style. You know, like I say, he hadn't had time to implement it that much. You know, but at the end of the day, they're not too dissimilar. It's not like going and playing for Sean Dyche's Burnley and then going and playing for Marseille.
No, exactly.
A completely different, huge contrast. They're very different styles, and you know, on paper, this style is probably better to play because it's zonal. But you've got fucking Junior.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
That second goal that Matty Cash were scored, right?
He's really upset you, hasn't he?
Oh, he's fucking dog shit. Fucking dog shit. We had an absolutely fantastic player in Alioski. Yeah, he had his fucking problems. Yeah, he had his, you know, he wasn't fucking the best. I mean, he was a left winger for Christ's sake. But he's 10 times a player at Firpo is.
Yeah, and you knew what you were going to get with him as well.
And his passing was fantastic, and he could drill him in from edge of box. Yeah, 9 times out of 10 they'd fly over bar, but he would try. This fucker can't even pass a pissing ball 10 yards, and he's constantly caught out of position. He's like he's where with fucking fairness. You know, like when you watch kids and they all run around after the ball on a Sunday.
The whole group of them is in the same place, chasing the ball.
Goal, I was watching him. I mean, I wasn't watching it, but I've watched it on highlights, and he's just like that. And then he'll trot over completely left. I think I don't know if it was Matty Cash at the time or was on the right hand side. It might have been. In fact, the ball came straight over to him. Purple's like that. Just watched it go over him like that. Oh fuck, there's a player over there. I should be there.
Yeah. Oh, pigeon.
Oh fucking hell! I should be there. Turns round, he cuts inside because the fucking silly bastard has completely left him unmarked, and bang, he's gone straight underneath Melier, and that's it, 2-0. And then
he must be stood there thinking. He must be stood thinking. Somebody should be picking him. Oh shit, that's me, innit? Yeah.
We should have a rail running down left side and right side, depending on which player, whether we're shooting to Cop or shooting to South Stand, and just have a big fuck off elastic leash on the bastard. Halfway.
Just bring him back.
Fucking get him back. Get him on one of them like big
bungee cord.
Come back here, you dickhead. You're not a right winger.
Get out of that fucking mud.
And then he went and got injured on right wing.
Well, that's it. And now you don't have to worry about him anymore because his knee's fucked.
Or do we? I've not heard anything. And from what I've seen, there were absolutely nothing in it. He just went down screaming like a bitch. In fact, do you know what I'd do? I tell you what I'd do. I'd get in. If he wasn't injured, I'd ban his tash. I say, you shave that fucker off. And I says, you can have your moustache back when you start playing well. The moustache
bit of an incentive for him.
There you go. I'm going to take
I like that. I like that. No performance, no tash.
We've been ranting, and we haven't even encouraged anyone to get their comments in. But I'm pretty certain a lot of people still think it's the same sort of stuff that we're talking about.
Probably. We do have a comment here from Michael Brown, just sort of agreeing with what you said about Alioski. Really, I've come to the conclusion that Firpo is not an upgrade on Alioski. Decent going forward, but poor defensively. I would prefer Pascal, who impressed at Spurs, at left back, or Dallas. I don't know. I mean, he has games where he plays well and like he looks all right with most stuff that he does, but then he'll have 3 games where he looks like he's not supposed to be on a football pitch. Looks like a competition winner. Ali Dyer.
Do you know what, mate? You know, regardless what people think about Cody Drammy, who's gone to Cardiff, you know, players like that who we've got. I mean, he didn't have the best game against Arsenal in Cup and all that sort of stuff, but there's potential there. And they're the sort of lads that you need to be bringing on. I understand that, we don't have really, much options from bench and all that sort of stuff, and we're really shy on any kind of left or right backs. But Ayling doesn't need to be centre back. Hopefully, Llorente is fit for weekend. I'm praying. Now, you would never have normally heard me say this. Praying for the return of Liam Cooper. I really am, because we miss him. We miss his presence in the air. We miss his captain at the end of the day. People
maybe.
go on about Ayling and Dallas, and there's a few, vociferous players and stuff like that. We need Cooper. We need Cooper back.
Maybe.
We need Phillips back. It's great to see Paddy out there, but brought on with absolutely no time to do anything really. And at the end of the day, like Michael's just said down at the bottom there, we have been so let down by the last 2 transfer windows. In fact, let's be honest, quite a few transfer windows.
Well, 8 windows in it since we got a central midfielder.
When it January 18, when it Adam Forshaw last central midfielder.
Yeah, it was Forshaw, yeah.
And it's just shambolic, and that's in itself. That's inexcusable as well, because we clearly were crying out for recruitment in summer and winter. Sorry, even more so in winter. And to run the risk and to gamble the future or your Premier League status because Bielsa seems to be holding it together when you're literally one player away from complete disaster, which is what happened and what has happened ever since that sort of time. We had 6-7 players, first team players on bench for City and then sort of like December running. That's inexcusable and it's embarrassing for them not to put their hand in their pockets. Even if you were to just like bolster you, even any sort of end of contract,
even just to have a better option off the bench,
just fucking throw a few million at them, at least something better than an academy product to be able to rely on something or someone with Premier League experience. And I don't. They
could have got somebody. They could have found somebody that had been involved in like playing down the bottom and getting out of scraps and shit like that. There's always players like that because they tend to be unglamorous players and they end up being let go and put up for sale.
Right? This fucker we've named our podcast over, right, says that they all times they've got 5 players per position within that team. Yet we only went after one fucking person, which we didn't really need at that point in time, a creative number 10. We didn't need him, and we only went after one fucking person. Yet we didn't have a fucking centre-back. We didn't have a striker. We've had a striker. What? How many appearances has he made now? Bamford? 6, 7?
6 or 7, yeah, something like that.
If you take last night's performance, which was 20 minutes or so, 5 minutes against Brentford, it's just fucking bollocks. Rodrigo can't play up front. It's a joke trying to play fucking Dan James up front. When we did have Dan James playing up front, the smallest player in the fucking world, he's like a bullet, but he's tiny. And we've got Rafinha and fucking Jack Harrison trying to fucking get him bloody crossing to his head.
He did score a header though.
Last time I checked, he wasn't a fucking salmon leaping out of fucking water. He's a fucking.
He was when he scored that header.
Yeah, but Tyrone Mings is shit.
Well, that's true.
We all
know that.
And to be fair, I think Daniel James, I'm not taking it away from him because I think he's a great player. I really, really do. And it's a shame that we can't utilise his pace more than we do. But
definitely,
it's fucking inexcusable, mate. And I'm not being funny. I would never, at the minute, hold Jesse Marsh accountable for the performances because it's just rolling on. We're in that rut now, and it's all been caused from all the. It's like a big domino effect. We didn't recruit properly. We've had so many injuries. Whether Bielsa's lost the changing room or not, who fucking knows? But it's just a complete fucking. It's like a blender of shit over the last 12 months, and it's just come to a head now. And it's just like, well, I tell you what, that's it. That's job done. If we did survive by the smallest,
let's come off at blender.
If we did survive by the smallest of fucking margins, we are fucked next year unless they put their hand in their pocket and we get a lot more squad depth than what we've got because we will really struggle. I'll be honest with you, I don't want another fucking season like this. I'd rather go back to Championship when,
I'm not sure about
that. I'm talking shit now because
the problem we got, Smart, is if we went down.
Even when we used to get Championship, I enjoyed myself because I knew we were too good to go down and we wouldn't go down. But in this fucking league, I'm sorry, but you've got to perform, otherwise you're fucked.
I get that. Problem we've got is if we go down, it's like what you're saying is true regardless of what league we're in. We need a load of players. That don't matter whether we're up or down. We need a load of players. Do you know what I mean? And I think we need at least 6 players because, like, we had it as a poll option, didn't we, last week about the old guard and like where do we need to strengthen next season, regardless. And it is going to be players that we love, like Dallas and Ayling, and those guys that need replacing now with younger, better players. Like they'll be legends for what they've done for us, but it is now time, I think, and that's going to be the case regardless of which league we're in. So
We've had a comment from Elliot Ben. Best thing I had last night was Gravely's fish butty with scraps. Enjoying the pod, lads. Lads, keep it up. Yeah, cheers, mate. Got a couple of bits from some other people. One of the regulars, Michael Brown. Dallas in midfield alongside Forshaw for me, and Ailing in his natural position at left back.
I think he's confused.
Yeah, I think he's had a few ales. It's Friday. Let's play plays our position, and it's not working. I mean, I've said it a few times. You can only piss with dick you've got, can't you?
That's it, mate.
It's not like he's absolutely swamped with selection at the minute. But yeah, there's something's going to have to change. He needs to change something for Sunday because we just cannot perform like that on Sunday. It just can't. 100%, it's unacceptable.
100%. Michael, just
keep comments coming in, guys, because my mouth's starting to dry up. I've been talking.
And it's been great. I've been able to just sit and let you rant for most of it, to be honest. So
should have had the
nice and easy.
Bitter little.
We should. Yeah.
We just put that up at start. Never mind bloody rolling intro. Welcome to the most bitter fucking Berardi and Coke we've recorded.
Yeah, well, we might as well start just banging everything on there at the moment because there's nothing positive to say, is there? Fucking hell. I tell you what, I am worried about. I'm a bit worried about the pressure that's going to be put on Bamford now because people are going to expect him to get us out of it with goals. And I'm also going to blame Gilly for the other week when he tried to say that he wasn't saying just put it in mixer because that seemed to happen a lot last night. So I'm blaming him for that. It looks like they've been told just bang it in when they get to a certain point because there were a load of aimless crosses last night.
Yeah, but that's just because we're shit and we can't pass.
The frequency of it were said to me that they've been told to do it.
That's what it arcs back to what I was saying about the passing. Are we looking up? How are we? I just don't know. I think they've kind of blended both styles together, and the players are just confused and just don't have any direction.
Yeah, that's it. And I think when you played a certain way for 4 years, it's hard to just switch it off.
I mean, you tell me, right? If we've got a player on ball, say Forshaw, for example, he gets closed down. Does he just boot it into space? No, he stops. He turns around and looks for that pass. How many decent passages of play have we had where we've been closed down in the middle of the park? We've had to pass it back to defence. It's been passed around from to Melia, back to wing backs into centre. Yeah. Bang! A Liam Cooper pass or a Calvin Phillips pass to some fucker running, absolutely busting the balls off that right wing. Cut back at the edge of the fucking on the byline. Cut back, not cross from 300 yards away to the smallest player in the world. Cut back the lads that are running in at the edge of the box. Bang, goal. But now we just seem to.
We don't see that anymore.
I don't know. I've only got 3 seconds on ball. I don't know what to do. Fuck it, I'll loaf it upfield. It's like watching kids again.
It is. They've lost a nerve though, haven't they? The confidence is gone. There's no composure there. They're all just panicking.
Confidence, fucking schmonfidence, mate. I'm not being funny, but it don't take any. You might lose your confidence. You might lose your nerve, or maybe your risk-taking ability. You might not want to take as many risks. But I'm sorry, not being able to pass a fucking ball is inexcusable.
I get you. I agree with you.
You can't not. You start fucking. Oh, I feel a bit shit today. Oh, I'm just going to go for the bike ride. Oh fuck, I've forgotten how to ride. You don't forget how to ride a fucking bike. So
no, that's true.
Can't pass a fucking ball. It's bullshit.
I mean, yeah, that is very, very basic. Like I was saying before, there's certain stuff that if you're a professional footballer, you should just be able to do. And passing to your own teammates, as I said, is up there for me. It's pretty high up that list. We've got another comment from Michael here. Need to keep Dallas and Ailing, Cooper and Forshaw, but Roberts, Click and Firpo need to go. I think that's probably true, to be fair. But I still would be replacing those guys in the first team. They would become squad players for me.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the same thing, mate. It's not, we lost Berardi, we lost Hernandez, we lost Alioski and didn't replace him. We can't really afford to start kicking players. Click, a bastion of the last few seasons and stuff like that. It'd be probably naive to let him go. Firpo, yeah, fuck him off. Absolutely agree.
Not good coming from him, is there?
Roberts, see you later.
Why do we struggle to get left backs?
I don't know what it is, mate.
I mean, obviously, there are less left backs in the world than right backs.
Well, there's clearly not. No, I completely disagree with you. There is literally none in the whole fucking world. There are no left backs. There are no creative number 10s. There are no fucking strikers. Clearly, because we didn't fucking sign any in fucking summer or in the winter. Clearly, James.
Well,
because apparently we've got 5 players for every single position within the squad, yet we can't fucking sign a single person when we're on our knees, praying, begging for support.
Mate, we are.
But
the help never comes.
I hope someone did throw a fucking shoe at them.
Shoe, fucking hell, with a snapped season ticket inside it.
Yeah, take your shoes off and start wanging them at them fucking board.
Shoes off if you hit the board.
Fucking rads, absolute gobshite wanker.
All the good stuff is done, and he's now fucking gambled us. He's gambled our future.
The thing is, it's egg on face as well for him, because if we do go down, the club's not going to be worth as much as it would have done if he'd have just invested and brought some more players. I mean, there's an argument for Bielsa didn't want them, but I'm not being funny. He was going to end the season anyway, so you should have bunked some fucking players under him. Take that decision. It's your club at the end of the day. If you're gonna fucking walk out,
I just don't believe. Anyway. I don't believe that were ever a valid excuse. And like I can't believe
that Bielsa would have allowed his because it would affect his play. Not having those right players, not having the experience and the technical ability to be able to do the things that he asks the teams to do, to play the way that he wants to play, and relying on kids who aren't as up to speed and aren't as confident and don't have that experience. Yeah, there's an argument for, well, he likes to have them in for a few months before.
And that comes down to...
Given that, right, say Bielsa were here still, he would have still had a couple of months now to get any sort of new recruits up to speed for the 10-game running. And that is better, and that's been in the better position than where we are now. Yeah, because changing styles completely with a new manager. It was the biggest mistake they ever made. And it's nothing against Jesse, but it's the biggest fucking mistake that they ever made, because at least with Bielsa, we had some fight, and we do not have any fight. And them fucking pricks out there last night just were completely devoid of any motivation. They had nothing. They were nothing. It was just a fucking shambles.
Nothing. No passion whatsoever. Fuck off. But there's two things from what you just said there, though, Smarty. It's like, one of them is about having to play the kids, and as we've said loads of times, these are kids that are coming out of playing under 23s football now. They're not first team ready. They've not played proper football, at least not much of it. So it's even harder then to chuck kids in a Premier League game. And I can see why he sometimes does prefer to put players in wrong positions rather than play a kid that's been playing under 23s. I get that. I can see some logic in that. But, it's the other thing is that if they knew he was leaving, they could have conceivably turned to him and just said, listen, for the long term of the squad and the club, we're going to bring these couple of players in, because obviously you're going to be going. If you don't want to play them, that's up to you. I think he would have done, if they were there. But they should have just said to him, we are going to bring these players in. Hope you can understand that we've got a plan ahead and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure he'd have been all right with that. I'm sure he's not going to kick off because they're planning ahead for when he's gone. If he knows he's going anyway, and it's not a problem, is it? No. So there's no good reason for him to have not signed anyone. And that whole fucking thing with Aronson just felt like we were doing the exact same thing West Ham did by chucking those bids at us for our players. They knew they weren't going to be accepted, but they could turn around to the fans and say, well, we tried to get somebody, we showed us commitment. We were willing to put his hands in his pockets.
Yeah, you could have a point, but how stupid would that be on the club? I mean, I don't for one reason or for 1 minute think that the club would, gamble with it that much. But,
proof's in the pudding, mate.
Yeah, exactly. The evidence that we've seen. I mean, who else have they tried to, no one's come, we've tried to, reinforce this position, that position. As far as we know, we were only interested in signing one player. And it was fucking pretty clear from about halfway through the transfer window that he was not coming to Leeds. So
everybody knew.
I'll tell you what, we'll just keep doing it. We'll keep going, and we'll keep positioning like we did with Ben White, like we did with Shea Adams. We'll keep barking up that tree. It's not happening. Move on, get someone else. We're desperate.
And you can't tell me that a guy whose job it is to have like a database of players hadn't got anyone more on his list, that he couldn't find anybody else. You can't tell me that. I mean, Jesus Christ, Victor, if you're stuck, there's a game called Football Manager. And if you get on there and you have a look, you'll probably find a few lads that are worth looking at in real life.
You know, in hindsight, you know, you'll have people, oh, well, you could have had him, you could have had, yeah, you've got to get the right person at the right price and understand that. But, you know, what the price of a player or the price of your place within the Premier League, what's more important? You know, spending another 15 million on a player, which we're not going to get any sort of any sort of big payouts this season when we're going. We'll get his parachute payment should we go down.
Well,
it's a hell of a fucking gamble. It's a hell of a gamble, and I pray that it comes off. But
if somebody says to you, spend 15 quid to get 100 quid, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Of course you would. Of course you would.
You know, if you're looking at thinking more than likely this is going to come off this, I'll chuck it in. I'll have a go. So you know, that's basically what they needed to gamble on, was spend a little to keep the Premier League money coming in, not spend anything and hope to keep the money. That's not the gamble that we needed, not at all.
There's too many youth involved with. I mean, we do have a good number of good young players, but there's too many of them. And you look, I mean, on odd, you know, in certain circumstances, you look back through time, you know, Leeds are quite successful with a lot of youth, but not, you know, the odd bits and pieces that were coming through. You know, you know, Batties and you Gary Speeds and this, that, and the other, but not a fucking bench worth 5 or 6 players in a match day squad. Fucking hell, it just doesn't happen. And it's clear.
When you're putting a 15-year-old on bench, you know that you need some players.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not knocking kid. You know, I'm sure he's really, really good. I've heard good things about him, but it's not something you want to have to do, is it?
No, but the thing is, they might be good in certain elements. You know, you look at Jean-Kevin Augustin. It was fucking great at youth. We thought, oh bloody hell, that's 25 million quid straight off.
Yeah.
It was shit. It went up to scrap. You know, you look at. I mean, for a prime example, our very own Simon Johnson, who was part of this podcast, not that we've seen him very much, Simon. He was a youth prospect at Leeds. He went through the youth academy, and he played. But after Leeds, he had to look at. He had to go elsewhere because he didn't make it as a Premier League footballer. Really, you know, he had to look at, and he went down. But he was next best thing. He was great when he played for Leeds, but they don't always make it. And I think there's too much pressure there's too many people hoping that a lot of youth are going to make it. They're going to be the next, dare I say it, Wayne Rooney or something like that. You know, there's flashes of Gallagher, and he's one very, very special talent. But it's clear that he's a very, very special talent. There's none of others are kicking the door down for the first team, in my opinion, really. Cresswell's got potential. You know, there's people that have potential, and if they're nurtured in the right way, they will probably potentially be great players. But there's nothing and no one on that bench, apart from Gallagher, that can impact the squad straight away.
No, you're right, and that's been the problem for ages.
Somerville, I think he's a great player, but he's not someone I'm absolutely think we need to get him on. When I see Gallagher, I think something can happen here. He can make something happen. When I see Somerville, oh well, he's all right as cover for such and such, or he's all right to cover for him. He's not someone I want to be in the first team squad.
Exactly that, mate. I totally agree. That's it.
I'm starting to get sick and tired of hearing myself talk, mate, if I'm totally honest.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. We've said it all
as well. Me and you.
I know.
Gruesome twosome.
Jesus Christ. Why are we being punished like this?
Do you know what? It's sickening as well. It's the fact that I remember I was 18 when Leeds got relegated from Premier League last time. And it were gutting because I hadn't really been into football that much, going to games and stuff, only for a few years. And I used to go quite a fair bit when I was 18, and having Portsmouth singing "You're going down, you're going down." I'm like, fucking hell. Then we had last year, we got back into Premier League. Behind closed doors, we weren't there. And then this fucking season, my first season back in Premier League, and we've got more fucking fans singing "You're going down." I mean, fucking hell. Talking about shit end of a stick,
I know, mate. Shit end of a stick and shit end of a season if we don't.
I mean, life's unfair. You know, there's shit going on in the world that you shouldn't really be concerning yourself with other results of a fucking football team. But it means a lot to people, and it's just, it does seem a little bit unfair. you know. But you know, really, we shouldn't have too much to. It's only football, guys.
Oh yeah. Just that's what I'll be telling myself if we go down.
And I had to
right, I think we'll
town and scum fans at work today. I was just wanting mood.
Jesus,
Really just wanting mood.
I'm not surprised, mate. You don't need it. We've got enough shit without them.
People nearly got a slap today, but
and then you wouldn't have been here to do this awesome episode of Berardi and Coke with me.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
You know, I'd have been doing it on my Todd.
You wouldn't have done because you'd have been asleep.
Yeah, I probably would, to be fair. But
you know, go give Siddle some cat food anyway.
Oh, he's wanting to go out, the bloody bugger. I've got my t-shirt on for Jesse. Look,
nice tits.
Oh mate, you know, can't beat a real pair, can you? But yeah, I think on that note, we'll call it a night.
Absolute pleasure.
But yeah, as always, mate, look out for us again after Norwich.
I bet people can't wait for that one. Bookmark that.
Oh mate, fucking. I've just remembered actually. You were saying before, we're probably going to open that one up if anyone wants to sort of jump on with us for the Norwich game. Just spice it up a bit and let you guys get involved. So if anyone wants to jump on, we'll put a link out on Twitter and stuff.
This could be absolutely brilliant, or it could be an absolute shambles.
Mate, it depends what happens, doesn't it? I mean, we're going to end up with them people that TalkSport won't let on. Do you know what I mean?
People like me and you. People like me and you, mate. That's
pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, and I think next Thursday we're going to be going to Galaccio, aren't we, to play Pundit Games. New one with them, so having a special night.
I can't make it again. I really would have liked to have gone this time, but I can't make it.
Oh, mate. No good. But they've sent me a little video to put on Twitter and that, which I'll bang up later on or tomorrow. And we'll put some details up for that. And if anyone wants to come along and see how bad our football knowledge is, then should be a good night. But yeah, it's been a good one, Smarty. After all that, we went on a bit longer than I thought we would, but I think we probably all feel a little bit better after that.
No,
I'll catch you next time.
Cheers, mate.
Adios.